I wanted to talk about your paper patterns quickly. This is something you can do while you're waiting for your supplies to come in and while you're getting ready for the sew along, and this part will be all done. Both patterns are free, so pop on over and download the basic or the basic and the fancy straps. And then you're going to print these out on your home printer. If you've never put a PDF pattern together before, especially one from Bagstock, all the companies can be a little bit different on the ones, how they put them together. Make sure you print out your test square, and you're just going to put your ruler over that and make sure that the square is 2 by 2. I already have my basic pieces cut out. I'm just going to show you quickly on the add-on. For the add-on, you're only going to have these 2 pages, and you'll need to put those 2 pieces together where there's those 2 A's. I'm going to leave this piece for taping, this blank piece up here, and I'm going to cut right across the bottom of that A line. And to do that, I'm just going to use a ruler and my rotary cutter that I have. I keep this one set aside for paper cutting. I'm just going to cut right along the bottom of that line. And this is before you cut out all the edges and everything. You want to get your letters lined up before you cut out those edges. So see how I have mine cut right at the bottom of this line, and then I have some blank space to attach that to. You can use Scotch tape, you can use a glue stick. I use a double-sided tape runner. Just go right in that blank space and line up those A's. Make sure your edges look like they're lined up. And now you have a full pattern piece, and then you'll just continue to cut around those edges. In your basic piece, you'll have 2 A's to attach the same way. If you are doing the fancy piece, you will use the fancy lining, and you could set the basic lining aside. They're different sizes. And then you will also have the 2 B pieces to put together. So not many pieces to put together. Most of the rest of the pieces fit on a regular paper, one sheet of paper, and you don't need to put them together. One other thing I like to do is I like to take on where the materials list is, and I'll use some highlighters. So for my exterior fabric, I have one color, my contrasting fabric, I have a color, my lining fabric, I have a color, and then I'll make any notes to where, for instance, my contrasting fabric is going to be in vinyl. So I'm going to write down that I'm using vinyl for that. And I'm substituting Decoville for the foam, so I wrote down Decoville. Then I'll take these highlighter colors and move them over to the pattern pieces. So I've got my exteriors are all the same color, my wovens are all the same color, so that when I go to cut my fabrics, I can put those in piles. So for instance, I want to cut my vinyl first, so I'm going to take all of my pattern pieces that have yellow on them and put them in this pile, and I'll cut all of those out of vinyl. And then I'll move on to my exterior fabric, so then it'll be a pile of pink. That way I know I get all of my pieces cut correctly. And I used the same colors on the add-on so that I'm not getting confused, and I know that those colors need to be in the same pile. You will have on both of your patterns, they are both on page 2 as well, an additional measure and cut section, and I went ahead and I highlighted those 2. Those pieces don't have pattern pieces, they're just dimensional rectangles, so we'll be cutting those from the same fabrics, and those are highlighted the same colors as the pattern pieces. So if you have any more questions on putting together a pattern, or like how these make your fabric requirements different, go ahead and ask me those questions and I'll get those answered for you. But this is something quick that you can do while you're waiting for your fabrics and your hardwares to come in, and then we'll be all ready to cut on the first day.